Wow. This was us 6 years ago. Trans woman burns rainbow flag to protest St. John's Pride Incorporated. And believe it or not, I still have that very flag. Hi everybody, I'm Jennifer McCreath. I now have hair. I'm still about as overweight as I was back in that video, and that video, believe me, it got a lot of attention, and I was vilified in some ways for it. I was complimented in other ways. It's been an interesting 6 years. I haven't watched that video in a long time, and I just watched it right now, and basically I wanted to refresh my memory as to what that was all about. Seems we had some miscommunication going on back in 2016. Specifically, the folks running St. John's Pride Incorporated did not want to talk to the media and explain why they had asked law enforcement officers not to attend the Pride Parade. This led law enforcement personnel, both police officers as well as civilians, such as myself, to speak out and say, wait a minute, we're part of the LGBTQ community. How can you actually ban members of your own community, and is that appropriate? So I felt this flag no longer represented me because the people running the organization didn't even want me there. Well, it seems we still have a lot of issues. It's been an interesting, tumultuous couple of years, especially down in the US, and minority groups have complained, in some cases justifiably so, about discrimination by law enforcement, whether it be a police organization or a court or a crown or whatever. The system's not perfect. However, in a case like this, there really needs to be communication, and there needs to be, I think, recognition that things aren't the way they were 50, 60 years ago. There are people in leadership roles in police organizations who don't think like the old way. They want to be accepting and inclusive. They want to learn more about the diversity of the people that they're here to serve. I keep hearing the word trigger. Members of the LGBTQ 2+, whatever the acronym is now, community, they feel triggered by police officers. Okay. I've asked for years for examples. People say, oh, the police treat us unfairly. And every year I ask, okay, Newfoundland, excuse me, come to me, talk to me. I'm not a police officer. I'm an LGBTQ civilian, human being, who does happen to work in a police organization. I literally want to bridge that gap and bring these two groups together. And I gotta say, my workplace is a lot more accepting of me than this so-called LGBT pride community is here in our city. I have so many people that either directly or indirectly either don't like me or don't like things I've done. And it seems that there's this myth about me that has exploded over the years. to the point where I'm essentially the Satan of, I guess, this community. I don't know. I get it, sure. I burned a flag, I admit it. Was that the right thing to do? Well, I had to do something. Bottom line is, I'm not going to burn this flag. I'm not going to burn any flags. Because I want to try a different approach today. I read a report there by a new organization I'd never heard of, but their goal was to make recommendations on, I guess, helping the justice system evolve and learn more about the diverse people that they serve. They talked about having civilian oversight and how the system can't, I guess, oversee itself per se. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a bit of a loner, and I take pride in standing up for myself and undertaking things, taking initiative, getting things done, leading if I can by example. I'm not here to speak on behalf of anyone other than myself. But I want to put this out there. There's an opportunity right now. There's a lot of LGBTQ individuals who work within the justice sector who just want to put their head down and focus on their job and collect their paycheck and go home and have a private life and not be smeared in the media or harassed by people. I know every time I put a YouTube video out there that somebody's probably going to watch it and think negative things about me. Heck, we saw what happened when I ran in my last political campaign. People on my own team tried to sabotage me and turn what I said into something completely different. So I guess I'm calling out this community. You say you want to just sit down and have a better path for communication and understanding, then let's practice what we're preaching. Let's come to the table. I'll be the catalyst. I wear two hats. I can literally bridge the gap between LGBT and justice system. And I think being a civilian gives me some autonomy. I have a job to do, yes. I do it Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. And on evenings and weekends if there's overtime and there's an opportunity to do that. But what I do on my own time as Jennifer McCreath has nothing to do with the organization. I don't want any perceived conflict of interest, and I would certainly recuse myself. Remember that word, Justin Trudeau? Recuse from any type of conflict of interest scenario. But a lot of people feel that their voices will not be heard, their stories will not be listened to or accepted or understood. Let me be that interpreter. If you're an LGBTQ member of Newfoundland and Labrador, and you've had negative dealings or experiences with the justice system, whether it's police, crown, courts, sheriffs, whatever, I want to sit down and have a chat about it. If there really are problems, if there's discrimination or profiling, I saw a thing on television about driving while black. I can sort of relate to traveling while trans. I never had problems going through airports until I came out as trans. Then all of a sudden I was conveniently flagged for secondary screens, searches, whatever. So I know what it's like to be profiled. I know what it's like to face discrimination. I know what it's like to not even have rights and have to fight for them. Heck, when I came out as trans, gender identity and gender expression were words completely foreign to government. They were not written down in any pieces of legislation. They weren't even in the Human Rights Code. Now they are. We've come a long way, folks. And believe me, I think my goal all along has been to help people understand and accept me as a person. First and foremost, they need to see me as a person, but in order to do so, they need to see me as a trans person first and understand what that means, and understand what that does not mean. Again, I go back to the old way of thinking, the old boys club, whatever you want to call the people in charge of our planet 30, 40 years ago. When I grew up as a young child in the 70s and 80s, I went through middle school, high school, even college and university, and not once learned anything about the trans community. I basically had to figure this out on my own, while being told all along that those people are nuts, they're bad, they're problematic. So come on, folks, there's an opportunity here to sit down and have a chat. I know. I mean, it's not just the justice system and the LGBT community that haven't seemed to be able to get on the same page. Trust and faith in government as a whole has us questioning the whole system. Is the Westminster parliamentary system right for Canada? Maybe we need to take a look at that. Yeah, I mean, so what I'm going to do now, symbolically, is I'm going to try to repair this flag the best I can. I'm going to remove the evidence that it was burned and try to make this flag as nice as possible, because the time for healing has come. What's that song? The wounds heal, but the scar remains. What band is that? Poison, I think? What's done is done. I understand that. If you want to hate me for the rest of your life because of what I did on June 11th, 2016, that's your right. How's that? Winners, isn't that interesting? By the way, this is not a winners video. I don't necessarily support or endorse them. Strictly coincidence that their name is on this flag. But I'll tell you an interesting story. This flag actually came from Moncton, New Brunswick, 2012, Moncton Pride. It was 2012 or 2011. Bottom line, we did not see stuff like that here in Newfoundland until a certain group of people turned St. John's Pride into St. John's Pride Incorporated. I still can't get over the villainization I faced for being a part of that. People laughed when I said there's no reason St. John's Pride can't be as big and as powerful and have as many allies and sponsors as Halifax Pride or Moncton Pride. And this is a perfect example. Am I perfect? No. Did I hurt some feelings and step on some toes? Yeah, I sure did. Do I regret creating St. John's Pride Incorporated? No. I regret that I had to hurt people in order to do it. But I also knew that it was the right thing to do. And history, I think, has shown that those were the right decisions made at the time. Everyone was saying, once we get Jennifer off Pride, we'll put things back to the way they were. No, that didn't happen. I literally helped build a foundation that would evolve. And I want to give credit to all the people who followed in my footsteps, even the ones I disagreed with in 2016. The progress St. John's Pride Incorporated has made in the past 11 and a half, 12 years, it's impressive, it's remarkable, and to see the amount of sponsors, everyone wants to be a part of this. That first year as an incorporated body, it was literally like a pilot. Just getting organizations to even know that Pride Week was happening and say, oh yeah, we'll take part, we're interested. I had to twist a lot of arms. Now people are paying money to go into a parade. There's a lot of money coming into St. John's Pride. That's a whole other video though. But I think that the goal here is people who want to come to the table shouldn't be pushed away. In organizations that may have a negative history with the LGBT community, at least they're coming forward now and saying, we can't change the past, but we want to learn from it. We want to facilitate good communication and learn and work together going forward to make a community where we can all make this place better for everyone. Does that make sense? Maybe, yes, no? So yeah, whether you like me or not, I want to hear your stories. And I want to earn your trust. If there's problems right now, then I want to help become part of the solution. And I think my unique position, as I mentioned, I'm a member of the LGBT and T communities, and I'm a civilian who not only works in the justice sector, but I've worked in several different aspects of it. And I've got a political policy background. I know how the police function, I know how the Crown Attorney's Office functions. I've worked at the provincial court, I've worked at the Supreme Court. I've also worked in a variety of different policy shops, in a variety of different governments. Government moves slow. Change doesn't happen overnight. But I understand how to get there. Heck, I fought for, along with others obviously, to get human rights protection for trans people in this province. I was one of the key voices that started shouting out about health care for trans people. I met with Canada Blood Services way back in 2009 to talk about the discriminatory blood donation and organ donation policies. And yeah, I've traveled around the country as an ambassador of the trans community and of Newfoundland and Labrador. Many of you folks may just see me as a mainlander, but back in 2011, 12, 13, 14, when I was very busy and actively touring around the country, helping other provinces get their trans voices heard, people didn't necessarily know me as Jennifer McCreath. I was Jennifer McCreath from Newfoundland and Labrador. And like the hope, I represented our province proud. I can't change the fact that I am a mainlander. I wasn't born here. However, I became Jennifer here. And I have now lived here longer than anywhere else I've ever lived. And as some of you know, I contemplate leaving here now and then, but I just can't do it. I'm pretty much stuck here for life. It's going to take a miracle for me to leave Newfoundland and Labrador. So I'm going to be here for a while. I'm getting older, but I don't plan on passing away anytime soon. So I'm going to be here for a while yet. And it's a shame that I don't even feel welcomed at the Pride Parade in my own city by an organization I helped create. No, I'm not going to be part of the Pride Parade this year. I don't feel welcome there, and I don't feel safe there. There, put that in your notebook, St. John's Pride Incorporated. You guys have an issue. The openness, there needs to be more. Again, where are the meetings? Why aren't we seeing public forums where people can come together and talk about openness and inclusivity? You're not going to get the rest of the world to accept the Pride community if the Pride community is kicking its own members out or not making them feel welcome. So again, my olive branch, the flag, yes, it was burned, but now it's been repaired to a certain extent, and I'm going to hang this up on the wall, and I'm going to be proud of it. I have fond memories of that trip to Moncton, and big shout out to people in Moncton that I haven't seen for a long time. And that's my video for the day. I'm going to be making steps to reach out and try to find ways to bring more people to the table. So stay tuned. If you want to take the initiative and reach out, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching my video, everyone. Have a great day.